Yesterday, while reporting on the tragedy of Kobe Bryant's passing, a reporter for MSNBC, for some reason, said the N-word. Now, she claims it was an accident and said that she was mixing the team names Knicks and Lakers, and it turned into whatever. I'm not even going to say the word she claims she accidentally said because it sounded like there was a G in there. I'll tell you what, I can't play you the clip on YouTube because despite what she claims about it being an accident and her just, accidentally slipping two words together, it's definitely the N-word. On MSNBC, this host said this. Now, here's the thing. It was obviously an accident. I don't think she was seriously trying to call anybody the N-word. Come on, man. Calm down. But lo and behold, it is not conservatives and it is not moderates calling for her to be fired, for the most part. There are certainly some conservatives who are saying, listen, man, MSNBC, you start this cancel culture game. You reap what you sow. Most people are just kind of scoffing at her and rolling their eyes. But I got to be honest, I don't see a whole lot of conservatives actually saying we demand her job. But there is now a petition from leftists because she said it that she must be fired. Heaven forbid she accidentally put these two words together or whatever. Listen, we'll read this story, but let me tell you something. If she was on her show and she looked at a person of color and said, you, and then spouted the slur, I'd be like, dude, not okay. In this instance, I think her excuse kind of makes sense, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't think an MSNBC host would intentionally be like, just shout out the N-word, especially in this context. It doesn't make sense because she mentions he's like, on the team of, N-word or whatever. And it's like, so her excuse kind of does make sense, though it really sounds like a G to me, whatever. The point is, look, I get it. Some people make mistakes, whatever the mistake may be. Pencils have erasers. Even to an extent that someone actually did say something offensive, I'd be like, make it a teaching moment, explain why you shouldn't say it, and let's all move on because we're sane, rational adults. I'll tell you this, man. I respect everybody's right to free speech. You want to say all the nastiest things in the world, you go do it. This is a private cable network. It's very different from a public platform like Twitter or Facebook. And if a company doesn't want her around because she said something offensive, even by accident, well, that's the company's issue. But I think as a society, we need to be willing to forgive people and let people move on and learn and grow. Otherwise, we just create pockets of festering mold. And you take somebody who says something nasty and throw them in the corner with the other festering mold, and it gets bigger and worse. Let people apologize, right? So here's the story. Heavy.com says, reporter says she did not use racial slur during Kobe Bryant report. They say while reporting on Kobe Bryant's death Sunday afternoon, MSNBC reporter Allison Morris says she stuttered on air and said, I'm not even going to say the word she claims to have said because it seriously sounds like the N-word, rather than Lakers during the broadcast. Morris offered that explanation in a tweet after receiving social media backlash from people who thought she said the N-word during her report. Now, here's where it gets important, okay? I don't care what you think. The point is, the woke far left is straight up saying, I don't care. She said the word, fire her, right? Check this out. Here's a petition. Get Allison Morris fired. And the craziest thing about it, it's got 20,584 signatures. The craziest thing about it is they're like, we know she said it. She used to work for Fox. She did not work for Fox News. She worked for a local Fox affiliate. Man, this poor woman, you know what I mean? I feel so bad for her. I get it, man. It's kind of a shocking moment because she said this. She said it, okay? Whatever your interpretation may be, she said it. But I recognize, man, it was she knew. I bet she knew right after she said it. She was probably sweating bullets, freaking out. But let's go back to the story. Let's read. They say, in her Twitter statement, Morris apologized for what she said, writing, earlier today while reporting on this tragic news of Kobe Bryant's passing, I unfortunately stuttered on air, combining the names of the Knicks and the Lakers. Please know I did not and would never use a racist term. I apologize for the confusion this caused. I don't agree. Like, it makes sense, right? But why would she think Kobe Bryant was on the Knicks? Maybe she did. I don't know, whatever. But aren't the Knicks in New York? So I don't know why she would, but maybe she just didn't know what team he was on and she did stutter. Regardless, I don't think she was intentionally trying to spit it out. But I will also point out, as much as MSNBC isn't necessarily like the woke far left, I don't know, man. Part of me wants to say I've seen these Antifa types shout racial slurs. Okay, I've seen far left socialist types shouting racial slurs. I don't think that applies to this woman. But, a tiny, tiny part of me is like, maybe she really is a racist. Maybe she really is. And maybe it wasn't intentional. She knew she'd get fired, but maybe it just slipped out because she was thinking nasty things. I really don't think that's the case. And regardless of whatever her intention or whatever she holds in her heart, I think it would be fair for us to be like, okay, come on, everybody calm down. She didn't call anybody the name. She's apologetic. We can move on, right? Apparently we can't. A petition to get Morris fired has started to circulate the internet. On Sunday, a petition titled Get Allison Morris Fired began making the rounds on the internet. A section of the petition read, on January 26, 2020, the world lost basketball legend and icon Kobe Bryant. Allison Morris of MSNBC News thinks it's okay to use a racial slur at this period of time. No, she doesn't. That is not fair. What she said was not an accident, but on purpose. Whoa, calm down. Because she paused before she said Los Angeles N-word. Now, I gotta admit, I did question that too. If you've listened to the audio, she actually does pause before saying it. I'm kind of like, did she stop to think about saying that? Stop, I don't know. They say we need to join together to get her fired because enough is enough and we will not tolerate this racist BS anymore. Within an hour, it had 250 signatures. 250, so what? Oh, 20,586. Let's refresh the page and see what happens. It is now at, all right, it's not loading. Don't blame me. Okay, we are waiting. It's not loading. Okay, there we go. It's going up. It's going 21,230. And it just went up again. So from the moment when I just read it to you, I just opened the page. It is already up basically like 1,000 more signatures. I certainly hope they don't fire this lady. That's nuts. Now, here's what they say. She moved from Fox to NBC News now last year. They say Variety announced that NBC had hired Morris from Fox's NYC station as a full-time anchor. Fox New York is not Fox News, okay? That's a very important distinction. Fox News is biased. That's, they do their thing. But Fox local outlets are not necessarily biased. I don't really care. It mentions her degree and stuff like this. They talk about the crash or whatever. They say MSNBC declined to comment. Probably the wise move. But now, what do you think? Do you think that conservatives are going to come out and demand her job? Well, I think some are somewhat facetiously or sarcastically. A lot of people are angry that it's the left. It's MSNBC that often play this game of trying to get people fired and highlighting slurs. You look at the left-wing activists who go after, Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson's never accidentally done this. At least as far as I know. Maybe he did. I don't know. So they say Tucker Carlson's opinions are so offensive, we must strip him of all advertisers. And Tucker's lost a ton of advertisers over his opinions. Fine. This lady literally said the word. I get it could be a mistake, but I can understand why people on the right are saying that's a double standard. Why should this MSNBC reporter get to say this, accident or otherwise? Why should we assume the intent she had when they assume the intent of Tucker Carlson and his advertisers literally pull out? However, one big thing about conservatives is that they don't often mobilize. They don't. And I think it has to do with what divides the left and the right. I think Republicans tend to be individualist, and Democrats tend to be collectivist, but in weird ways, right? Republicans will be collectivist about like core ideals, but on issues like this, they're not going to form a mass protest. They're not going to organize a petition to get someone fired. And I think one of the main reasons is, while the left will say it's because Republicans are racist and they like it. No, it's because they don't mobilize. And it's because they're not whiny children. They recognize she made a mistake and they ultimately don't care. I think one big dividing factor right now, at least, maybe not for all of history, but Democrats tend to be immature. I know the Democrats and the left are going to get really, really angry at me, but I really do think one thing that separates Democrat from Republican is maturity. You look at the, Bernie Sanders far left types who don't seem to understand basic economics. Don't get me wrong. You got a bunch of Republicans and Trump supporters who are as dumb as a box of rocks. But in general, there is an individual responsibility factor of people who are like, listen, I'm going to take care of myself, worry about my business and do my thing. And I'm not going to worry about the stupid stones people trip over there. But the left, being super collectivist for tribal reasons, really want to wield this power against other people. I don't know, but there's a lack of maturity and understanding. So whereas you'll end up with some Republican being like, I don't care what words someone used, sticks and stones will break my bones, blah, blah, blah. But the children, the angry, whiny kids who want to exert authority, the bullies, are freaking out, going, how rumph I say? And now that I've explained it to you, I'd like to show you some examples. Okay. So I often browse. I have a tendency now to try and grab my glasses when I'm not wearing them. It's a bad habit. I read all these subreddits. Okay, believe it or not. It's really funny. I see a lot of people who claim that I only focus on one thing. In response to me talking about impeachment, when I said, who cares about Bolton? I'm not going to get into it. Somebody was like, why don't you actually see what Adam Schiff has to say? You won't even read his argument. I'm like, dude, I have heard Schiff's argument 800,000 times. I'm good. But no, I read the left-wing and right-wing subreddits. And over at Gamer Ghazi, this is a self-described SJWs. They facetiously call themselves social justice warriors, or literally, I don't know. About 26,000 people here, but they often post stories from the context of pro-social justice. I don't think the subreddit is actually the worst of the worst. I've seen some really crazy stuff. No, I think these people are actually true believers. So I've seen them, the people here, while I disagree with a lot of their views and perspectives, I've seen them actually defend general principle, and I can respect that. But I disagree with a lot of their opinion, like this. They linked this story. MSNBC anchor Alison Morris denies using N-word during Kobe Bryant report. Online petition calls for her to be fired, now with 7,000 signatures 11 hours ago. So now we know it's up to 21,000. Someone said this. Expected result of MSNBC hiring a bunch of Wall Street Journal's rejects and other assorted neocons. So right away, we see the comment, fully believing this woman actually intended to use the word. It's not. The next one says, I totally think she said it as some kind of awful slip, but to be honest, you might need a new job if that's a thing that happens with you. Actually, that might be a fair point. Like, listen, man, I think it's fair to say, if your job is to be a live anchor and you accidentally said the N-word, maybe that's not a job you should have. I'll put it this way. If your job is to drive railroad spikes with a sledgehammer and you accidentally sledge someone's foot, even one time, maybe it's not a job for you. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, look, your job is to be on TV saying things in real time. And if you have slip-ups like this is a really, really bad slip-up. Maybe you shouldn't be on TV. I'm not saying she should be fired because she committed a slight against public opinion. I'm saying she slipped up in one of the worst ways possible in a job that requires her not to slip up. But ultimately, I don't think she should be fired. I just think that actually is a fair point. Here we go. This is the best. This is my favorite. It says, it honestly sounds like a near even split of the N-word and what she claimed happened. She used to work for Fox, so I'm sure it was the N-word. These people don't even know that Fox News is completely different from local Fox affiliates. And as such, now they assume these local journalists who don't really talk about national level politics for the most part are absolutely the same as Fox News. To me, that's just so absurd. You could watch the video for yourself. The one in the link, just a thought. They responded, to me, it sounds like a near even split. What happened? So they said the same thing, I guess. She worked for a Fox affiliate, not Fox News. Thank you. Although they do say she did formerly work for the Wall Street Journal, though. Dude seemed so full of life. Okay. So anyway, you get the point. Here's what I find funny. Of anyone who should be calling out MSNBC, you'd think it'd be conservatives, right? You'd think this would be the Fox News fans and right-wingers' chance to pounce on the MSNBC and accuse them of being overt bigots. And they aren't. They're just making a point about double standards instead. So you see where my position comes in? They say, why won't Tim rag on Democrats? Or why won't Tim rag on Republicans? Listen, the Republicans aren't abandoning their principles right now because they see an opportunity to destroy someone's life. I mean, some may be, but for the most part, no. High-profile conservative personalities are just saying, you do it to us, why can't we do it to you? But they're saying it, not actually calling for her job. Meanwhile, the woke left is literally accusing this lady of doing this on purpose and trying to get her fired. Cancel culture is stupid and gross. But you know what? MSNBC, this is the game you play. It's the faction you picked. It's the ideology you follow for the most part. And so why should it be that MSNBC can have things like this happen and then no comment, no repercussions? You help create the culture. You reap what you sow. But once again, this is the game I see all the time. The left will be like, this thing Republicans are doing is really, really bad. And I'll be like, that's actually a good point. And then they'll do it and be like, please, everyone, calm down. You have to understand it was an accident. They'll go after someone on the right for a slip up. They got one dude fired from a local job in New York. And then when it happens on their network, it's, oh, no, not us. We really got to get over this cancel culture, guys. Yes, when it affects them. But when they can wield power against someone not in their tribe, it's fine. I think for this woman, the problem she faces is that she's not particularly well known. She's not like Rachel Maddow. If Rachel Maddow did it, people would be like, oh, calm down, it was an accident. But because she came from the Wall Street Journal and a Fox affiliate, they pounce. She's not one of them, even if she is reporting for MSNBC. Now, I guess apparently she works for NBC News. I don't know, whatever. You get the point. I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment is coming up at 4 p.m. on youtube.com/Timcast. And here's the thing. We are going to come back to this because the next segment that I'm presumably going to be working on is the Democrats of all types, far left, moderate, whatever, they're all freaking out because they all hate each other. And this is why. Stick around. I will see you at 4 p.m.